Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. It is the 7th day of May, 2013. I am your host, Alex Jones. We will be here for the next 3 hours live. William Gheen of PAC, one of the major pro-sovereignty, anti-completely open border groups. William Gheen will be joining us for about 30 minutes in the next hour to really break down what is in the different versions of the amnesty bill. That is really the North American Union, $1 trillion every 5 years, they're estimating conservatively, program that will just complete this country's journey into Banana Republic. They try to spin it like it's hospitality, have open borders. But you can't go to Mexico or Guatemala or Nigeria or Russia, for that matter, and just say, I want to have my babies for free. I want free welfare. I want, everything, and I'm above the law. But in the West, the globalists use immigrant populations as a pro-government group. They don't fund the immigrant groups because they care about them. They do it because they're using them to drive down wages, and that's what NAFTA and GATT has done. NAFTA has destroyed Mexico. Mexico's standard of living has gone down. Look at all the numbers. If you want to help Mexico, you end the drug war, you end drug prohibition, that'll end a lot of the organized crime, and Mexico has more billionaires per capita than any other country in the world because it is totally centralized with a tiny group of filthy rich people who have gotten their money through monopolies. From Carlos Slim, the richest man in the world. He's not really, but he's one of the richest new money people in the world. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, there's a State Department warning not to travel to Mexico, and we're supposed to just collapse the border completely. I would rather Mexico have its own revolution of liberty for freedom, revolution of ideas. And I'd like to see them with the Second Amendment. I'd like to, or whatever the free people of Mexico developed. There's a new NRA video out that I saw last night. McBreen showed it to me. Will you guys, or no, it was Rob Dew. Will you get Rob Dew to give you that? I want to play that later. He was showing it to me in his office where they show all the numbers. I already knew this, so when I saw it, I knew the NRA was telling the truth. So I don't just watch the NRA and go, oh, they're telling the truth. I already knew this. I've seen the numbers. A lot of you've seen them, but I want to do maybe a nightly news report tonight on this. I want to review their new ad and then show some more documentation. That most of the guns the drug cartels are getting are full auto, flown in by Wells Fargo, Wachovia, and others on record in giant cargo planes. The Mexican cartels tend to like German weapons. I saw a statistic where like half of them are German full auto Heckler and Koch and things. And so they've got grenade launchers, tanks, armored vehicles, rocket launchers, and full auto. I mean, Mexican drug cartels have heavy 50s, folks. Full auto. You can't buy that. Hand grenades. They buy them from Europe. They buy them. The U.S. military stuff gets down there. Full auto M16s, full auto 308s, Reapers, you name it. And again, I, as a gun aficionado who studies all this, I know this, but thank God the NRA's on this. They're now blaming the crime in Mexico on the Second Amendment. But I did look up some numbers. Guess who is getting guns in America? Because they can't get them in Mexico. And guess who is using them to defend themselves? And there's now vigilante groups all over Mexico restoring law and order. Guess who? Mexicans are coming here and getting shotguns and rifles and handguns to protect themselves, even though they're outgunned, with American guns. So it's true. When Obama doesn't want Mexicans to get guns, it's just like he doesn't want Americans to have guns. That's what's going on. He's siding with the drug cartels and that pig government down there against the Mexican people having a right to defend their families. Monday through Friday, From 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, we're here live, rebroadcast on many stations as well. XM 166, I think tomorrow it goes to channel 244. The news websites are Infowars.com and Prisonplanet.com. I had quite an epiphany this morning while hiking with my son in the lush spring morning. And the epiphany is a thought I've had so many times, but it hit me so hard and with such clarity that the reason I get so frustrated and so angry and almost describe my disgust at tyranny and globalists and bullies like that of claustrophobia, because that's what it is. I want them off my back. I want them out of my life. I have so much love for beauty and innocence and goodness. And that is what is all over the world. That is what dominates creation. But evil has a hunger to be in control. And so this paradox, historically, is always there. And I just cry out for justice. I resonate for truth. And I'm not up here saying I'm a high and mighty moral person because of that. I am just a natural man. I'm a simple man. But common sense and simpleness in this modern mad world is a revolutionary idea. And when you study reality, when you study governments and political systems like I do, no exaggeration, 18 hours a day. I even dream about political situations in the New World Order. As many people do, things that you're focused on, you dream about. Most coaches I know say they dream about coaching. They dream about games, whether it's basketball, golf, football, baseball. It's the same thing. I eat, drink, and sleep Veritas. I want Veritas. And I just feel so incredibly empowered and just so appreciative of consciousness. And then I see people dumbed down. I see people misled. I see people who feel bad about themselves because Madison Avenue has taught them to feel inadequate so that Madison Avenue can then sell them lies in the name of making you complete when it actually makes you even more incomplete. You were born complete. I mean, I was just thinking about how everything is incredible, how driving down the highway and seeing hawks on light poles and police cars flashing lights and cars' taillights fading in and out through the hills at night, what Robert Plant was just singing about. And the breeze and how you'll catch the smell of flowers and just how magic everything is, how incredible it all is. How good it all is. I was exercising yesterday evening, and I looked up, and whatever they call the official White House helicopter, Marine One, I think is the name of it. And I guess Obama's here in 2 days, so they had Marine One. And yesterday, I'm sitting there. It's a pure blue sky, totally gorgeous. It's like 6 o'clock at night. I went and exercised and came back and did the nightly news. And I'm there jogging through the woods, and I hear this big helicopter, and I look up over the hills, and here comes Marine One, and it flies right over me. And it was just such an assault. It was an alien Skynet globalist craft surveying and doing a test run for the Emperor's arrival. And then the Emperor is nothing but the great Oz projection. I am the great and powerful Oz. Yeah, that's the old Marine One we've got on screen for TV viewers. It's the new Black Hawk Marine One. Type in the new Black Hawk Marine One, because it was a big Black Hawk, but with the white top and the green bottom. And I just wanted to be away from it. And it brought to mind thousands of crystallized thoughts of just the stupid red carpets and the pageantry and how none of it means anything. People say, well, Alex, if Hollywood and all this means nothing, then, you know, why have you gone and hung out with Hollywood stars and people? Well, I'll tell you, 10 years ago, I was still not really into it, but it was interesting. But I'm certainly not into it now unless I respect someone and I think they're an interesting, creative person. Yes, that's what I saw over Austin. The Black Hawk Marine One, United States of America. I couldn't read the United States, but I could see the white on the tail from seeing it and tell that it said United States of America. It's kind of like a road sign. You can read it before it comes into view perfectly, just by the outline. And it's all about how they're God. It's all about how they're above the law. I get these emails, I see the comments about, hey, so we had martial law in Boston. You people are nothing. You don't count. I read one of those YouTube comments yesterday. The police are the professionals. And that's been the attitude throughout history. The government is up on a pedestal, and it's sovereign, and it has rights, and it's God, and you're scum. That's how 98% of other governments conservatively, you can count on one hand, so just quasi-free societies. Quasi-free. And they were usually societies that came out of incredible tyranny that was so horrible, people codified basic human rights that were in stone, punishable by death if you violated them, because it's so dangerous to turn the worst people loose in society in a tyranny. That's how tyranny works. You get rid of the checks and balances, the worst in the society will take control. And I started thinking about how they had the FBI counterterrorism deputy director on CNN. I played the clip yesterday. Go and listen. We record everything you do. We can go back in time and hear everything the Zarnev brothers said. The dead Patsy Tamerlan and the other one. And he smiled about it with pleasure in an egomaniac, criminal energy, hiking the leg, urinating on us, criminology display. I mean, I've seen the look in the serial killers in the dock at trials. I've seen the look of criminals. I've been in juvenile multiple times until I got out on trial in fights. I've been around criminals, ladies and gentlemen. And I know the look in their eye, the enjoyment in cheating people, in lying to people, in getting things over on them. And I saw it in that FBI agent's eyes, the enjoyment, how they can go back and pull up years of every phone call we made, recordings of it, not just the text, and everything you do, recorded on record. That was known back in the Telecommunications Act of '96. That's how dumb they think you are. And I'm the conspiracy theory person for telling you things that are admitted fact. That is flaming criminality. Oh, it's to keep us safe from Adam Gadon, the grandson of the head of the ADL formerly, and then the other 4 leaders of Al-Qaeda are all U.S.-born, trained, known CIA operatives. I'm like, if there's a drill, if they're on CIA payroll, if they've been protected, if they've got a history with the FBI, it's a staged event. Look at the drill they had, which they admit they had, but now won't talk about. And then, oh, how did I just guess minutes after it happened in Overdrive that Monday with Richard Belzer on the show that it'll be people connected to the CIA and FBI protected, and there'll be a drill, and there'll be a stand down, and then they'll kill the patsies or cut the other one's throat out. I mean, because they run the same blueprint. By the way, before I get into all this big news, I've got to apologize. I just read the Wikipedia entry on Iron Man, and it turns out there was a last-minute re-edit, which I confirmed through our reporters in L.A. And I went and saw Iron Man last night. And it was very cartoonish, very stupid at the end, still entertaining. And I went and saw the film, and they openly tell you that defense contractors are staging the terror attacks and running the Pentagon program to counter the terrorist. And they go, it's supply and demand. We run all sides. It's full spectrum dominance. Now, no one else has said that but me. I mean, sure, we know governments for 200, 300 years have been funding both sides. The Rothschilds have been doing it. Big banks have been doing it. That's a well-known system. But they actually say in the movie, it's full spectrum dominance. We create the terrorism, and then we also make the money off fighting it. It's supply and demand. And then there's a false flag, and bin Laden is an actor in it. And I don't even know what to say anymore. Yeah, Mandarin. But you know, the problem is I walk out of the theater and I hear everybody going, I didn't understand that. See, that's why they can throw it in your face. Because the people watching it don't even know what any of it means. It's just like Oblivion. That's a lot better film. You know, very well done. Amazing. I'm going to come back with the big news. Big censorship. Stay with us. You know what? I'm going to get to the off-the-chart news in the next segment. I want to continue talking about the world outside of globalist control a little bit. Then I'm going to get to danger. Google warns Drudge Report and Infowars are malware. Dan Pfeiffer, senior advisor of the White House, told the public and the media, do not visit the Drudge Report because it's helping expose the fact that they're overthrowing the Bill of Rights and Constitution, putting our military under UN control, buying billions of bullets. And now Google is lying and saying that we have malware. We've scanned the site. This is not on our site. They are liars. They did this to Drudge a few years ago. It came out it was a lie. And Google is the ultimate hack. Worldwide, they've been caught from France to the U.S., from Canada to Australia, with Google cars, driving around with antennas on them, jacking your computer and hard hacking it. It's a felony each time. If you or I did this, you're talking years in jail. Breaking into your computer, stealing everything on it, stealing your passcodes, everything. In fact, guys, print me a bunch of articles on that. I know Kurt linked to them, but I want to show TV viewers actually articles. Just type in Google hacks computers, Google broke into computers with Google car. I mean, this is the ultimate malware, ultimate surveillance. When you're on Google and you set your settings. In fact, get me, Catherine Albrecht, back on about Google. I want to do a whole show on them. There it is. Business Insider. Google caught secretly hacking Apple software to track people, iPhone and Mac users. Yeah, that's nothing. Print that too. No. They hack your actual computer with Google cars. Google cars caught hacking. I'm already getting into this. I said I'd get into it in the next segment. This is the ultimate hacking group. And it turns out when they said Drudge was hacking people, or Drudge had malware 2 years ago, this is in Kurt's article linked to mainstream news. Turns out it was Google's own software in the ad packages run by a third party that they said was spying on people. So I'm going to explain that again. That's just like our government funds Al-Qaeda to attack countries, then they give them heat-seeking missiles, and then we've got to give our rights up because Al-Qaeda's got heat-seeking missiles. And that's like Google is spying on you, but then on its ad software that they buy up we've used like 3 different companies to serve our ads. Google's bought every one of them. They just bought the last company we're now using, so we've got to find another one. So the only thing our IT people think this may be is that again, because we've got some Google software running on one part of things that they're now blocking us because they have a frickin' monopoly on ad software. I mean, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I have trouble dealing with this level of hypocrisy. Google is sued by dozens of customers after snooping on 10 million iPads. Yeah, that's just the latest, guys. Print me all that. 2 years ago, they had to plead guilty. I think it was in France, but they've also got caught doing it here. Google hacks computers, steals passcodes with Google cars. It's the Google cars that go around taking the photos. They got antenna. It is, did Google get off easy with $7 million for Y-Spy settlement? Yeah, there it is. You see a Google car driving around, it ain't just taking photos, Jack, of your house. Okay? That is an NSA globalist imperial probe droid. That's the same thing That's the same thing the smart meters are. They bragged 15 years ago they were going to put, quote, smart meters on your house. You hear smart, you better run. And all the new appliances, from toasters to clock radios to washing machines, all of them watch and listen and track everything you're doing. And now they say, oh, we are going to control the heat in your house. I remember reading about that 10 years ago, and people are like, you kook, they're not going to control the temp. Then they come out 2 years ago and go, we actually are going to control your thermostat. I mean, if that isn't malware hacking, and now I'm getting these reports everywhere. And I've just been so busy, I told IT to look into it, and now Kurt finds out about it because it's in the news, that Google is lying and saying we're putting malware on you so you don't go to Infowars.com when they are, if I'm a sinner, they're Satan. This is Satan saying I'm evil. Well, get behind me, Google. Get behind me, Satan, Beelzebub, Baphomet, Leviathan. In the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, get behind me, Google. NSA, who says, don't be evil. What a joke. I'm going to get to that more later. I want to talk more about the universe. And how these people are not God, even though they want to act like it. They just showed me one of the Google cars, all these antennas and camera pods and wiring off of it. But it's like Google, oh, they have beer and pinball. They have a Google movie coming out. They're non-threatening. Warren Buffett's got an ice cream cone. Bill Gates loves children. I'm telling you, if you dressed up in an ice cream man outfit, you could stick babies in a blender, and women would help you do it because it's trendy and liberal.
We're on the mark.
Spoken like a hardcore extremist. Spoken like an American. Let me tell all of you something. You didn't build nothing. In fact, your parents didn't create you. A government immaculate conception happened. A little vampire bat flew in the window, climbed on top of your mama. That's where you came from. You are the seed of government. They are our God and King. And, you know, I could sit there and joke about that, but government wants to become God. The globalists want to become God. GMO is taking over all the real original crops and replacing it with toxic death and poison that sterilizes every mammal that comes in contact with it long term. But they are not God. Let me finish up with the Google story, then I'll get into the fact that they are not in total control and the New World Order is dead on arrival and they will fail if humanity rises to the challenge. But let me just show you the article. Punch this up for TV viewers. Radio listeners, go to Infowars.com. And I've had Kurt update his article and add a bunch of news articles admitting that Google is the ultimate criminal spy breaking into your computer, committing mass felonies. But it's a government cutout, just like Total Information Awareness Network, set up by the CIA via InQtel funding. When I first reported that 10 years ago with the CIA, former technology expert at the CIA, Steele, Mr. Steele, forget his first name. You can look it up. The media flipped and said it was a conspiracy theory. And he got threatened and wouldn't come back on the show after that. Now it's been declassified. Look up Google InQtel. They're just given the spy satellite data. They're just given. They're based at the NASA headquarters, the real NASA headquarters, the clandestine operations. And what does Google say? They say, don't visit Infowars.com. Don't visit Prisonplanet.com. And the reason I tell you this is you better appreciate Infowars.com and Prisonplanet.com and Prisonplanet.tv. You better appreciate DrudgeReport.com because the White House and the globalists are on record trying to pass Soviet or communist-style internet censorship. That's their words. Even CBS News, CNET, had to call it Chinese-style and Russian-style censorship. Okay? Remember, the White House chief advisor to Obama said, don't go to Drudge. And again, they think they're God. Don't go to that. And let me tell you, the general public goes, well, that's crazy. I'm going to go there. Oh, no. They tell the press corps that. They know. You go there and you quote anything off of that, even though it's mainly mainstream news, you know, we control the narrative. We want to be able to tell people what the top news story is on every news channel every night. You see that. Well, Drudge isn't with the program. Infowars isn't with the program. So he says, you don't go there, prostitutes. And they say, Heil Obama. Literally. And they don't. I mean, the FBI tells the press, you listen here. You don't look at any other photos of that drill. You don't look at these man's photos over here. And the press, all 100+ people in there with Dan Bidandi, did not go over and look at it. And they sent shaved head guys over to bump into him and get in his face and threaten him. And he said, I'm not scared of you. I know you guys are involved in this. And boy, let me tell you, the look of intimidation and power went out of their eyes. I've seen the video. You've seen the video. When he said, I don't care what you do. I'm done. I know. And boy, they know deep down too. If they weren't actually there involved in it, they know what it is. You don't have power putting on a uniform or putting on a suit and serving Mordor and imagining you're part of it. All you are is a sucker when you do that. And I'm going to tell you, none of you are going to make it out of this New World Order. None of us. If this thing comes in, if this thing actually gets on its feet, and it's starting to try to get up from a crouching position. It's been crawling. And let me tell you, it's scary as a baby. Well, it's now a little boy. And it's now getting strong. And it's now sucking a lot of blood out of a lot of countries. And a lot of ideas and a lot of science out of people. And it wants every stinking one of us dead, 6 feet under. The New World Order is on a power trip and thinks it's God. And I know I'm right. I've read all their writings. And I sit there and I talk to GQ writers and Esquire writers and all of them. And they're just like, you can't really believe this is real. You don't really believe they're doing this. And I'm like, I don't believe it. I know it. And in a world of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, as Orwell said. And I forget who said I think it was a Dutch philosopher, look it up for me. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. When I say that, I see comments on YouTube going, how dare you bash blind people? Is that how politically correct you are? You have no thought process but to say any knowledge is politically correct, like an idiocracy when the guy gets up and says, I want to put on a defense, I'm not guilty. And they go, what are you, a fag? What are you, gay? You know, that's the words they use when anybody, I've seen it. What are you doing reading a book? You read too many books. What are you, a fag? I've actually had people tell me that before it was put in idiocracy. And I bet you money we're going to be able to ask him. I was talking to him yesterday. I should ask him that. Mike Judge, I'll guarantee you he put that in that movie because I'll bet money when I ask him because he's seen that happen. Erasmus. And where was he? He was Dutch, right? Erasmus. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Dutch philosopher Erasmus. Dutch Renaissance. You want to know who I am, New World Order? I am Renaissance. You want to know who I am, New World Order? I am enlightenment. You don't know who I am freedom. You know who I am compassion. I am justice. I am honor. I am duty. I am will. I am commitment. I am love. I am truthfulness. Does that mean I don't have my evil side? I certainly got it. I got a big good side and I got a big evil side. But my good side is a lot bigger than my evil side. And you know what? I'm a mile wide and 1 trillion miles deep. And so are you. So are you. And you only live when you commit to good. That's when the universe opens up to you. All these people serving evil, training in evil, thinking you'll gain power from evil. You will not gain power from evil. Because you aren't individually resonating with anything good. You are tying into something destructive. Before there was the light, there was darkness. And you're going to see more of this. This is how the globalists have said that they're going to censor the internet. They have said they're going to censor the internet by claiming that all sites not affiliated with the globalist in subdomains are malware or scams, and they're going to block you from them, and they're going to tax the web, and they're going to form a new web. Google's putting it in 100 times faster than the rest, and you will have no freedom when you're on that new web. You will be in subdomains and waive your rights. And they want everybody to be in that. They want to be dominant. That's why they've let YouTube be somewhat free and other platforms. But they've said that's all going away. So we've built Prisonplanet.tv to fight the Prison Planet. We're trying to build our own operations. We're trying to build our own infrastructure. We're putting out print media to begin that development. They are going to try to shut us down, but they can't do it. If you know they want to shut us down, and if you'll tell everybody about Infowars.com, I'm telling you, folks, they're scared of Infowars.com, and they're scared of DrudgeReport.com, and I've told you this, and now you're seeing them come out with it. Group calls for hearings into Google's CIA ties and NSA. Robert David Steele in 2006 first told our broadcast they were CIA funded by In-Q-Tel. It's since been declassified. And to have them come out and say we have malware on our site when we don't, let me read you the article. They did this to Drudge in 2010, 2.5 years ago. Turned out it was Google's own software on an ad, on a link he linked to. And the last time they said this with us, it never wasn't even the news. We looked at it, was Google. So we got away from Google. And then Google bought the company we went with. And then Google bought the next company. And then Google just bought the other company. You understand they've got a near monopoly over ad server systems. Drudge Report accused of serving malware again. CNET News. The White House says don't go there. Let me read to you the article today. Danger. Google warns Drudge Report and Infowars.com are malware. An effort to scare folks away from alternative media. I don't know why he puts a question mark on it. Maybe we should change that subheadline to, this is the ultimate in fraud because Google is the biggest hacker, malware, scamming, criminal group in the internet history. And that's conservative. I mean, it's like 2 or 3 times what anybody else has done. I just computed it. It's probably 100 times. I mean, it's just that they are the king of it. I'm going to go over that. And everybody should go over the fact of what they're doing. Facebook's a big CIA pump-and-dump scam where they call their users dumb effers and how they're scamming you and charging you to send messages and people committing suicide over it. I mean, who cares? Use it like a toilet. Use Facebook to jack their system and jack them hard, but hate them and spit on them while you do it. Same thing with YouTube, all of it. Jack the enemy conduits, jack it hard and hate them and spit on them while you do it. This is a war. They're killing kids everywhere with GMO and vaccines knowingly. This morning they had jets out spraying chemtrails everywhere. It's a public geoengineering program. Partially declassified, and the public doesn't even know about it. You think you're in Kansas? You're not in Kansas anymore. All you can do is make the decision to look into what CIA admits full monitoring of Facebook, Google, YouTube, and other social networks. Yeah, you run them. If you're a radio listener, we're showing headlines. An effort to scare folks away from alternative media. Editor's note, Infowars.com's IT department has scanned our system and reports that we do not carry content from umequeds.com as Google tells visitors to our site. How best to scare people away from alternative media? How about real media? Make them think Drudge Report and Infowars web pages contain malicious software. Again, this is Google, the ultimate criminal group. In April, White House senior advisor Dan Pfeiffer tried to steer traffic away from Drudge Report. Of course, it spiked. His effort directed more traffic to the website. Yeah, you might actually put a link to Alexa to show that. And then it goes on with the message. Google Chrome has blocked access to drudgereport.com. Content from uquads.com, a known malware distributor, has been inserted into your web page. Visit this page now is very likely to infect your computer. Total bull. I mean, Google is the one jacking and breaking through your passcodes and spying. And Schmidt says you shouldn't visit anything you don't want me to see on a power trip. I mean, what a joke. By the way, he only sold, last time I saw, like 10,000 of his book. What a joke you are, scumbag. Just because you can run a criminal CIA front doesn't mean you actually ever did anything, little man. Hope you're cozy under the black wings of the New World Order. We'll see how that works out for you. Mark Zuckerberg awarded CIA surveillance medal. Wow. I can't handle it. Get him off my screen. It makes me too sick. Some soft punk. I'm so sick of all these punks. Malware is malicious software that causes things like identity theft, financial loss, and permanent file deletion. So imagine, they're telling people that if you go to Infowars.com, you could have identity theft when it's the big banks and government on record that are over 90% of the identity theft problems with the software and data and Social Security leaks. That's on record. But here they are, the ones that do it, the ones that break into your computer saying we did it. They're desperate. It's not going to work. Everyone, go to Infowars.com. Everyone, tell your friends and family. Support us. Buy the water filters, the T-shirts. Subscribe to the magazine. Fill our war chest, and I will wage war on the enemy as hardcore as I can. During a news conference last year, White House Press Secretary Jake Carney instructed a reporter, be mindful of your sources when asked about the Drudge Report. More traffic followed the Drudge. Despite the best efforts of Obamanites and Democrats to diss Drudge and put a dent in the web's popularity, millions of folks pursue the site daily. Back in March of 2010, the Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works sent an email stating Drudge's website was responsible for many viruses popping up throughout the Senate. CNET reported that it turned out it wasn't true. No appreciable drop in viewership ensued. Ditto Infowars.com. See, that means we're taking direct shots from these people. In recent weeks, a large number of critics, led by spurious reports posted by the Southern Poverty Law Center's website and elsewhere, have posted stories accusing Alex Jones and Infowars.com of fomenting some kind of right-wing terror campaign and distributing baseless conspiracy theories. No matter, following the attack, millions of people flocked to the website to get their other side of the story on everything from Sandy Hook to the Boston bombings. Now Google Chrome tags Infowars.com as a malware distributor. Unbelievable. It is a tactic destined to failure. Yeah, but in the new web, they're just going to block us. In a CNET article in March of 2010 reported that malware allegedly distributed by Drudge Report actually came, wait for it, actually came from DoubleClick, a subsidiary of Google. Can anybody say Google, Google, Google? It rhymes with Obama, Obama. Again, who runs Al-Qaeda? NATO and the big banks, publicly. Why do they take our rights? Because of Al-Qaeda. Why has Drudge got malware, which he didn't? Because Google. Google was implanting it in links. Articles he was linking to, doing them a favor. He was sending them money. And what do they do for him sending them traffic? Why, they lie about him, and they do the same thing to us. What a pack of scum and filth and garbage. Read the CNET article. We're linked to it. Google reported on Drudge because of Google. I mean, I know we drink a lot of fluoride out there, folks, but I mean, are you getting the irony here? I mean, this is some satire here. But it's real. That Google is the, I mean, this is incredible. It should be satire, but it's not. It's absurdist. It goes on that the Federal Communications Commission documented and disclosed that Google Street View, an effort to photograph streets, that was the cover around the world, deliberately collected massive amounts of Wi-Fi payload data, including breaking into bank accounts, I should add, and that information was illegally stored on Oregon storage facility. Google attempted to hide the theft from the public and investigators. Did they go to jail for absconding? Like you or I wouldn't know. And then we have a bunch of links to Google's criminal activity. They've declared war on us. I declare info war on scumbag Google. I declare info war on the entire scumbag New World Order. And I demand humanity activate emergency survival genetic code now. Activate.
With health
Every little thing you do, every person you talk to, every person you warn, every time you resist, every time you fight a ticket, every time you speak out against the system, the enemy, like a sandcastle with waves coming ever closer, begins to crumble into the sea. This is epic. This is history. You're on a planet in a gorgeous universe. Men and women come together and create a genetic splice clone that is a baby that you then take care of. We live on a tiny sliver, thinner than the skin of an apple in comparison, of oxygen. About 14,000 feet of breathable oxygen in a tiny little sliver on this natural, or the Bible says it's not, space station. Perfectly placed with a perfectly placed moon. In the middle of wonderment, and the great crime is having to be obsessed all day with these crooks and these scum trying to play God, and they're so demonic that those of us that are awake, we laugh at them like they're demonic children, but they're in control because they lust after it. So we've got to get them out of control and restore checks and balances in the Republic. Take Central Texas, San Antonio, and Austin. There's over 80,000 copies of my magazine on the streets there. You can buy these in bulk of groups of 10 up to 100. They've got 3 bumper stickers, full-size, petroleum-based, the kind that lasts years. Big Infowars.com, Restore the Constitution bumper stickers inside of it. It's the false flags issue. Great to wake somebody up. I want everybody, especially in Central Texas and San Antonio and Austin, I guess that's North, South Texas, San Antonio, to get them and to put it on your cars and wherever else is legal and lawful. Certainly don't do what the French Resistance did and stick it up in public. We should worship the government. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to see these. These are on the streets of Austin right now, everywhere. You already see bumper stickers every, 50th car or so, but I want them all over the country. You can also buy bumper stickers at Infowars.com. I mean, do you understand? We have crawled up from nowhere because of your support and been able to put up this fight. And there aren't many of us fighting, but we're having huge, devastating victories when we do. If you get involved and join the team and come in for the big win, we're going to beat these people. What they're doing is totally illegal. They're flaunting on TV that everything you do is recorded on your phone. They have an FBI Deputy Director of Counterterrorism on TV smiling, going, "We record everything you say, everything you do, America." And he goes, "We can't use it in criminal cases yet." But we are. And that means they can make stuff up. They had programs out a decade ago where you can record someone's voice, put it into a computer, and have it say whatever you want. And another computer can't tell it's fake. 20 years ago, they could show you Forrest Gump shaking hands with Kennedy. It ain't real, folks. They even produce Al-Qaeda videos at the Pentagon and put the Al-Qaeda logo in the same character generator layer. Wired magazine confirmed that. National Security Agency flipped out. That was 5 years ago. The Al-Qaeda videos with the Al-Qaeda logos, those are produced by the Pentagon. They shot them on a soundstage. You're like, "That's Iron Man 3, dude. You're ripping off the movie." No, I told you that before 9/11. I told you they'd blow up the World Trade Center, blame it on their asset, bin Laden. It's not the U.S. government. It's not our troops, our boys. It's the New World Order. And they don't want you to know about any of this. But if all of you do little things, we outnumber them 10,000 to 1. Declare InfoWar today. We're engaging the New World Order at point-blank range with huge effect. Police confirmed Bilderberg 2013 to take place in Watford, UK. I'll be there. Establishment media spins Al-Qaeda use of chemical weapons in Syria. Now that it's come out, and they've had to confirm that it's chemical weapons the West gave them. Wow, it's even come out. They're trying to spin it. Well, since we attacked Syria with chemical weapons, we should blow up all of Syria. How dare Syria let us bomb them and do nothing? Man, I've never heard of something that nasty. Eyewitnesses. The younger Zarneb brother did not shoot Boston cop. It was friendly fire. You remember when the cops shot 9 people last year in New York, and they kept reporting it was a citizen that did it? And then they even knew it, and then now it's a footnote. I've heard them source, 9 people shot, in New York. Yeah, the cops did it. What about cops shooting innocent people in Southern California with the Dorner thing? Video, students submit to Obama's security force bag searches. We're going to play the video and audio of this later. This is insane. Remember Obama's domestic security force? Well, almost everyone out on the street, again in California with Mark Dice, submitted. Going, it's just a volunteer security force, make sure you're not a terrorist. And they would let them search the bag. I mean, this is what sheeple training does. And then it's a bunch of guys in black uniforms strutting around going, hey, you're not supposed to have a gun. You're not supposed to be a man. Only government is. We have diplomatic immunity. We're the government. They're trying to make all government have diplomatic immunity. And what is that? That's a con game. I'm above the law because I say so. The UN says it's above our countries because the bankers set it up and got our Congress to agree to that. It is really unprecedented. So that's some of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to look at the immigration bill, which senators are on record saying will cost trillions. And it's not an immigration bill. It's a total legalization, and it's the voting bloc for the Soviet party. The Republicans, I guess, are kind of like the fascist party. The Soviet party, to just have a group of people that go, okay, here's your free welfare, now vote to take their guns. Okay, I'll vote to take their guns. I got to be honest, if like Switzerland was bordering us and there was 30 million people coming in who were like going to try to restore the republic, I'd say, okay. I don't care if they had green skin. In fact, if people in Mexico had like blue antennas, but were into freedom, I'm such a libertarian, I would, it was like aliens, but they liked freedom. Oh, sure, here. That you really come in peace? Well, here, just come on in. And, I mean, literally, I just don't want to be a slave. And let me tell you, I mean, I don't want to live in Mexico. But all Mexico's got is its fake nationalism, run by a bunch of El Jefe, more billionaires per capita in any country. And now the globalists are going to merge Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. And they have security agreements, look them up, to, quote, use Canadian and Mexican troops during civil unrest in the United States. That's Washington Post. Look that up from like a decade ago. And then, and they have the Olympics a few years ago in Canada. U.S. troops were there running checkpoints in Canada, helping. And the Mexican troops came and helped in Katrina, where the military was confiscating the guns. They helped. I mean, they're just helping. And I've got the NRA video where they document that most of the guns that are bought by the cartels are full auto and are flown in by big banks. That's come out. In fact, will you guys print me Wachovia, Wells Fargo laundered $376 billion. It's Bloomberg. I want to show that later. Because, see, yes, it's true. Mexican citizens are getting semi-automatic guns, handguns, rifles to protect themselves. And will you guys print me that, too, about vigilantes restore order in some Mexican cities? They get to America, they get guns, they go back, and they fight the cartels and take back control. And that's why Obama's upset. Because they can't run their extermination. I mean, it's not enough to kill 60,000 Mexicans under the drug war in the last 6 years. Obama wants to make sure only the government and the cartel has those full automatic machine guns they're buying from Germany mainly. Thank you for joining us. We're now into hour number 2 of this Tuesday, 7th day of May, 2013 worldwide broadcast. So much is happening. They're trying to completely gut American sovereignty and legalize. When they say 13 million illegals, it's more like 30 million illegals, openly bragging it so they can vote to take our guns and basically bring us into the North American Union. We're going to be talking to William Gheen, the head of Alley PAC, probably one of the most important real lobbies up there for national sovereignty. We're going to be talking to him here in just a moment. But other big stuff is happening. Obviously, I'm going to talk more after he leaves us today with the situation in the Benghazi gate. We're going to be looking at that. They've got credible whistleblowers to speak tomorrow in a hearing. Now, folks, I already told you what happened. We know what happened. It came out. They stood down for 8 hours while Al-Qaeda killed everybody in the building. The 5 regular people and the 2 SEALs, sheep-dipped in the CIA, who refused orders to stand down. They had to fire the head of CENTCOM over it because he threw a fit. They fired, it's like 10 or more other top admirals and generals. They had 2 Predator drones and a C-130. surveillance craft out in the Mediterranean. They had drones right above it. They sat there and watched. The Benghazi security force, this is not blowback. They went in there and they killed him so they could say the heat-seeking missiles. They had a warehouse there full of heat-seeking missiles. It's like 18,000 missiles, 10,000 of them heat-seeking. A bunch of them were reportedly there, according to all our sources, and that's now months later. We told you this first. By the way, we need to get all our sources back on that said all this. It was Colonel Schaefer, Lieutenant Colonel Schaefer said all that, and the guy that was in Tripoli a bunch and in Benghazi, a former NSA, Wayne Madsen, and others. And look, we know 8-hour stand down, 8-hour stand down, while the CIA, Al-Qaeda security force, people are like, Al-Qaeda, CIA? Yes, they run Al-Qaeda. The CIA is run by foreign banks. I don't know how I have to explain this to you. It'd be like if aliens landed and they had blue skin and they were commanding our military and our military had collaborated. And I'm going, hey, the aliens are commanding our government. The government's illegitimate. But they're wearing uniforms. But see, they don't have blue skin, so it's not obvious. It's foreign banks. Benghazi stand-down denials don't stand up to reason. That's Forbes. I mean, this is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm going to get into that. Senate passes internet sales tax bill amid opposition from conservatives. I mean, this is incredible. It's the power to tax is the power to destroy. It's a total control grid. The cybersecurity bill is. This is an internet sabotage system as the Google 100 times faster fiber optic goes in. When that fiber optic is in nationwide in about 3 years. It's going in Austin. It's been put in several other major cities. We notice they're taking over Midwest first. Why isn't it California? Why isn't it New York? They know everybody's fleeing to the middle of the country. It's an enemy operation. They're putting down their fiber in Austin, other areas. Austin, they admit, is the Agenda 21. They have maps. We've shown it on TV when we go to their meetings, how they're going to take over here. They even describe it as their operations and their dominance operation. I mean, this is a technocratic takeover. But they go, oh, we drink beer at the campus and act trendy. We have beards and wear rainbow socks. They go behind closed doors. General, pair operations, bring them down. I mean, this is an enemy operation. Spies. Excuse me. Believe me, folks, you better look into this. Man, they're sophisticated. But if you're aware of their operations, we can defeat them. So you got that going on. I'm going to talk more about the Armed March. My thoughts are exactly what Mike Adams has said. It's at Infowars.com. Armed March on D.C. announced for July 4th. Is Adam Kokesh crazy or courageous? And he shows both sides of it. Why? You have a right to do that. The D.C. Heller did rule you could have guns, but they're still saying they'll arrest you. They are the tyrants. They are in the wrong. But does this give them an opportunity? Well, so I'm saying, when I say be there with video cameras, I'm not saying be there armed because I can't morally tell people to do something that's so dangerous. That's a decision you've got to make. So I'm talking about that in the third hour because people are spinning it saying Jones is endorsing it. I am not endorsing it. I am studying it, looking at it from both sides. You understand that? Because I respect Lou Rockwell. I respect Adam. But Adam does pull, pure stunts. But his argument is he pulls stunts for liberty. I get it. Fortune favors the bold. There is a tide in the affairs of men when taking up the flood leads on to fortune. Our fortune is liberty. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, when people are like, I hope you're man enough to be there with your gun, bud. See, don't punch my buttons. I'm man enough to play this smart. I'm man enough for the long haul. I'm man enough to go all the way and do what's really dangerous. But I'm studying it, and it resonates with people, and just the idea is part of the animating contest of liberty. Now, we've had multiple senators, I'll show these articles while our guest speaks, say it's going to cost trillions. It is the North American Union. It is the end of our country. You can't go to Mexico. I talk about Mexico because that's 80% roughly of the illegal immigration. I can't go there and have free babies. I can't go there and become a citizen. Jesse Ventura has tried to become a citizen, and they've told him no. A former governor. Jesse Ventura, you know, his daughter can't come down there and have a baby free. But see, America has so much hospitality, and the authoritarians guilt everybody, not to save Mexico that's in horrible tyranny, a collapsing failed state. Look at how that's hidden in plain view. Not to help them, no, to bring all of America down. The globalists admit they want you poor so you can never stand up like Mexico that has more billionaires per capita than any other country in the world. They have more billionaires than the U.S., not per capita, period. Because you've got 1/10 of 1/10 of 1/10 of 1%. I mean, literally, it's less than a dozen people that own the whole stinking thing. And if you get uppity, police in black uniforms drop by and line you up and shoot you. I've seen the videos and so where they line people up and shoot them, and it's not even in our news. Okay? So that's what's coming to America, and I want freedom for all those people. But instead, they've hyped up nationalism, La Reconquista, La Infosora, the reconquering, America's evil. All the problems of Mexico or America, well, it's the globalists are part of it, but not me. And this is the takeover. And William Gheen, I appreciate him joining us, of AlleyPAC. He's the leader of Americans for Legal Immigration PAC, or AlleyPAC, which is one of the largest grassroots organizations in America, alleypac.com, williamgheen.com as well. William, you've heard me going over this. Obama's blaming the Second Amendment for what happens in Mexico, and we know it's armored vehicles and full auto and grenade launchers they're getting. Guys, you pull up Bloomberg, Wachovia, or I'll pull it up. Wachovia, Wells Fargo laundered $376 billion. I mean, they're running all this and then blaming us, and now they want to fully split the country open. William Gheen, what's happening?
Alex, first of all, thank you so much for having me on at this very, very critical time. You know, the Senate is about to consider this amnesty bill in 48 hours in front of the Judiciary Committee. And I listened to your lead-in. You were so on the money. You were right on the mark. Maybe not on every detail, but when you describe the United States as facing a form of treason from within or a type of warfare being practiced against the United States citizens, I am so much in agreement with you there. And it's a thing that, as a leader of a national organization, I've become more vocal about over the last several months. I believe the United States faces a constellation of threats. Just like our bodies walking down the street every day face a constellation of risks from accident and disease and microbes, the United States, being what it is, the most valued real estate on the planet, faces a constellation of threats. And the guns, you know, I've been on your program several times over the years, and I've warned people across the country. I said, beware the three nation killers. There are three things they want to do to the country, which our partial political revolution of 2010 held back quite a bit, okay? But now that holdup, that time we bought the country has expired, and they're back. And the three nation killers are free speech. They want people to live like they live in Canada and Mexico as part of this integration. In Canada, William Gheen and Alex Jones would have already been yanked in front of a tribunal with the ability to imprison or fine us terribly. If Alex Jones and William Gheen were doing what we're doing in Mexico today, we'd probably both be dead long ago. And so they want the freedom of speech down. They want the Second Amendment destroyed, and the American gun laws brought into equilibrium with
They're moving on every front. This is the radical transformation Obama promised. The corporations, the media, the globalists, the communists, this is the full move. This is it. This is the total attack. This is the war. This is the key jump point.
And they've got control of most of the major networks. They've even got Rupert Murdoch of News Corp and Fox News now on board with the amnesty lobby. So I used to be on Fox News all the time. I have not been back on Fox News in 2 years since I announced correctly that the Democrats were going to use large-scale illegal immigrant voters in the western states to stop the Tea Party revolution. That was the last time you heard William Gheen on a major national network, because the doors closed to me and many others like me at Fox. They've studied us for several years because they know that my organization, Americans for Legal Immigration PAC, played a key role in defeating amnesty in 2006, 2007, and in 2010.
So now they're lying. We're going to go to break, and I want you to come back and get into this. But what I've seen them as doing is Obama's angering immigrants with his tough new bill when it's total amnesty, basically, and then they call it an anti-immigrant bill. Is that correct?
No, it's not anti-immigrant. That's just the please don't throw me in that briar patch.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, remember what they did 5 years ago when they wouldn't let people read the bill? We're going to talk about what's really in the different versions. You're up there on the Hill. This is coming up for a vote very soon in committee. It's all happening. Internet taxes, you name it.
Are you one of the millions of Americans worried about...
Lindsey Graham, nasty little creature that he is out whitewashing Benghazi while acting like he's exposing it. Graham, I think the dam is about to break on Benghazi. And on his Senate site, on his Facebook, he says, I think the dam is about to break on Benghazi. We're going to find a system failure before, during, and after the attacks. A stand down by the special forces. They were ordered to stand down for 8 hours. Done. We knew when it happened. A week after, it was the al-Qaeda security force hired. I'm going to go back to William Gheen on the immigration thing. It's all happening. Internet taxes, open borders, all of it, but we can beat it. Why are they so desperate now? Why are they able to get so many Republicans to go along with this now? And how do we beat this? And what does the immigration bill really do for, why won't they let the public see a copy of it? Why is Senator Sessions saying if we can read it, it will die? Why are they demonizing Ted Cruz for saying we should be able to read it?
Well, I'll answer each one of those in order. But first, I want to thank you again. Back when I encouraged Senator Graham to come forward about his homosexuality secret, I came under a lot of heat across the country, and your show was the first show to, give me a fair spin with what I had to say. And I'll always be grateful to Alex Jones' show for that, because I believe that Lindsey Graham will sing and dance any tune the elites want him to the detriment of the American public, because they have the power to put his hidden lifestyle on every major network and destroy him at any moment, whereas we do not have that power.
By the way, 2 days after you did that, I didn't know you were going to do that on air, but you're a respected guy and you're up there on the Hill. He suddenly reversed himself on the immigration issue back to the pro-sovereignty policy.
He did. He withdrew from the negotiations with Janet Napolitano and Barack Obama, and his popularity levels in South Carolina plummeted, because that was part of my trap. I knew that since I was a Tea Party guy, that the press, including Comedy Central, I didn't know it would be Comedy Central specifically, but I would take a lot of heat, which washed over me. It was like flames, but I was untouched by the flames, maybe a couple of singed eyebrows here and there from the calls that I received from angry people, thinking I was just being mean to gay people, which wasn't my intention at all. But Lindsey Graham's approval ratings dropped to unelectable levels. Now, since that time, they've been rebuilding him slowly back up to try to save their brand, save their guy, because he's up for re-election this year. But Lindsey Graham is a traitor against the people of the United States, and him and people like Marco Rubio and John McCain, I don't know what all the elites have on Rubio and McCain like I do Graham, but they'll do and say anything, because these people are just really good at controlling people. Now, that brings us back to how we defeat these people again. How do we stop S-744, which is a nation killer? It is an illegal immigration amnesty neutron bomb, Alex. Senator Jeff Sessions, who I wish so deeply was the president of the United States of America right now, with a VP like Joe Arpaio, Jeff Sessions' office has been scrambling to read through this 844-plus page bill and try to decipher and interpret what it means for the American public. And they found a couple important things. First of all, between the illegal immigrants that it turns into voters eventually, and the increase in legal immigration by 50%, when we're already as a nation at a hyper or historically high immigration level, combined with the new visa programs, 57 million people, predominantly from third world countries, would be allowed to immigrate to the United States or enter with a visa in the next 10 years. I'm going to repeat that, 57 million, Alex. We've got a population of about 308 million in the country. So look around you. If you're in traffic, if you're in your house, look out your window.
And half the kids in the country right now,
people you see.
Sure, half the kids in the country, I've seen the statistics, are the children of immigrants. This is a total rewrite of America, and it's a rewrite towards third world police states. I mean, this is incredible.
Well, they're bringing in people that are not like the people that have governed America, that founded America, not like the people that have governed America for over 200 years, not like the people that have paid all the taxes for over 200 years, not like the people who have paid the ultimate sacrifice with their own or their children's blood. in the wars to protect the U.S. Constitution.
Well, they come from authoritarian countries, and some of them do appreciate freedom because of it, but the vast majority, like 90%, vote once they become citizens to take my guns. How would you leave a country where you couldn't have guns and then come here and take my guns? I guess because they've never had guns, they don't know.
Well, it's not that they're not even literate in their own languages. They have no idea of the American principles and concepts. What you stand for, what I stand for, what 90% of the people out there in America that are indigenous right now, even the people who are liberal, you know, a lot of these people on the left side, the Democrats, they're going to be smiling real big in the first 10 years as Republicans lose everything, except for a couple of enclaves in a couple of places. But then their smiles are going to be short-lived when they figured out that whatever their particular issue was, be it the environment, be it gay rights, be it, you know... oh,
my God, this country is going to resemble China. Stay there. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that's Agenda 21. They're going to keep us in big city reservations. The elite are going to live out in the countryside, helicoptering around. That's their plan. It is horrible. We'll be right. I mean, we are going to be third world.
We're on the march.
Internet Texas, internet censorship, Benghazi Gate, our government funding Al-Qaeda to overthrow somewhat prosperous and comparatively free nations like Libya and Syria. Into this world we're thrown. And again, I know you reap what you sow. I have incredible empathy. I'm not here making excuses for myself. The media spins it like everybody knows we should turn our guns in. Everybody knows GMO's good for you. Everybody knows aspartame's good. Everybody knows there's no side effects for vaccines, kids. You know, they're trying to pass a bill. We're going to have a guest pop in at the end of the show. They're trying to pass it today out of committee, just like California, where the government can say your kid gave consent in a public school to have inoculations. Really, can they give consent to drink liquor or have sex? That's statutory rape. That's contributing to the delinquency of minors. That's common law, constitutionally illegal. And then the Austin police chief wants to make it where illegal aliens basically don't get arrested. He was on the news talking about that, you know, for crimes they commit and stuff. I mean, it's just, or doesn't want them deported. I mean, it is just Twilight Zone because they want the magnet. They want to bring the immigrants here, not to come here and bust their butts and build the country. Not to come here and get into the free market, become wealthy, and the people that work hard go to the top. No, they say, come here and just get on welfare. Just vote to take these guys' guns. Hey, you're used to being a slave in Africa or Mexico or Eastern Europe. Come to America. The head of Alley PAC, William Gheen, is here, finishing up with this bill, what it does. I mean, especially from what I've seen and what you've written about and what Sessions has said, trying to read it in the last few days, it's kind of a repeat of what the bipartisan bill did before.
Well, it's that plus everything they've ever wanted, you know. And the main key here is first, you know, information is important, but people are almost oversaturated in information. We've got to get people organized. Our main two key points for doing that is our primary website, alipac.us, alipac.us, and a petition site we have at againstamnesty.com. Both of those websites are carrying the information to keep people up to date on this particular bill, the problems with the bill, the full talking points with the bill, and we give people the phone numbers they need to call, what they need to be saying, how they need to be going about it, and we need people to not be paralyzed here. If you can't donate time to make a call, if you can't donate $1 to an organization, you're already neutralized. If you like to hang on and listen in horror as things fall apart, then that's up to you. But we've got to take the people that can still stand. You know, the last 2 months I've had people running the other direction, past me, screaming, or laying there crying in front of me pretty much, saying, oh, they've got us this time, that we're beaten, because the psychological operations, the psyops of the globalists have already neutralized so many people that have immersed themselves in this information. And I've been telling them, look, you don't know the outcome of the battle. But this same thing happened in 2006 and 2007. In the first few weeks or months of the battle, we had people running the other direction saying, oh, the enemy is so superior in finances with this George Soros money and all this stuff. We can't beat them. They've got us. They've got us. We need the people who are willing to march towards the disaster, that are willing to put their hands on the tiger's tail, put their hands around this ancient serpent's neck, and to fight back when the outcome of the battle of whether the Lord is going to preserve the United States or not is still undetermined at this point, and to move forward on these people. We're organizing at alipac.us and against amnesty.com to day, we've turned everybody loose calling the Senate Judiciary Committee, which there are links to on our homepage for all of the numbers for those members. That's a battle we think it's most likely we're going to lose, because that committee has been stacked with people like Lindsey Graham and Jeff Flake and the Gang of Eight.
But what about stuff where they advertise to illegals, come have free babies, come get on food stamps? I mean, this is fraud. And again, I can't go to Mexico and get food stamps and a free birth and everything. I mean, and then it's like, you're just not a nice person. It's so incredible. There's Judicial Watch uncovers USDA records sponsoring U.S. food stamp program for illegal aliens, and they advertise it in Mexico. I mean, this is treason. And you know about the North American Union deal 2005 with Bush and Fox and the Prime Minister?
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Alex, because, look, just the other day when the President of the United States was in Mexico, he told, it was reported in ABC News, that he was there to increase economic integration in the hemisphere or the continent. Now, we never voted for that. That would require a treaty by the Senate that's never been passed. The American public has never agreed to further integrate our economies, which means integrating our population.
But Bush signed the deal. Bush signed the deal.
The first one, well, Clinton put the NAFTA into place, and then Bush launched the SPP, Security and Prosperity Partnership, and now Obama has continued. I did a quick search right before coming on your show on Obama economic integration. I found two very fresh things that I want to mention. First of all, from the Christian Science Monitor is praising this, what Obama did. It said President Obama's trip to Mexico will help better integrate the two economies, and a piece of Senate immigration reform bill focuses on integrating the mainly Mexican population of undocumented immigrants. Each country must respect each other's sensitivities on these two integrations. Then the article, which just came out May 1st, goes on to say, very key here, it says, taken together, the president's trip and the immigration reform bill are forcing Americans to come to grips with Mexico and Mexicans in a way not seen since the controversial passage of the North American Trade Agreement.
And what does it mean, come to grips? It's not like Switzerland is bordering us. I would want to border France. It's going bankrupt. It's like bordering North Korea.
Forcing Americans. Right there. Where is that coming from? Forcing Americans. Who in the world is it that is forcing Americans? But there it is, written, third paragraph of the Christian Science Monitor.
No, they admit it's globalism. They are merging the three countries and taking our rights away, and then telling Americans don't be nationalistic, while the Ford Foundation for 60 years has funded the most radical anti-American nationalism the world has ever seen in Mexico. Let's just be honest about this. And folks, you think your taxes are high now, the guns, everything, it's gone. We are going to collapse, which is the plan. I mean, this is, folks, it is like jumping into a sinking ship. And again, they love it. They absolutely love it, because the globalists are exempt from all of this. How do we beat it? Because, they said we couldn't beat the gun bill, and they'll stage something else, or, there'll be some new shooting. They're going to come back. But, we have got to beat them now on this.
Here's our last shot, and I mean our last shot at this, okay? If we can slow this bill down, which we've already done, those of us already fighting through allypac.us and againstamnesty.com, we've helped slow this bill down. And every day that we can slow it down, every day we can get another Alex Jones show out there on this topic. Every day people learn more about the national biometric ID in the bill, the $9 trillion price tag on the bill, the waivers for all of the enforcement language.
Let me stop you. Again, the other bills had that before, where we all get basically a North American ID, and we've already seen the ads for 5 years. They already issue a North American ID. I mean, this is the total, this is it. This is the end of America.
We have one more chance if we can stop this bill. Now, if we stop this bill, I think there's probably a 70% plus chance that Obama will engage in further dictatorial, unlawful, unconstitutional activities, unless our current lawsuit that the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Union is showing some promise with a Texas judge. Obama will probably just try to make it happen anyway. Our goal at AlleyPac is to kill this bill, stop this bill, educate more people, and instead of letting them go to sleep. Take the energy of the gunfight that just happened. Take the energy of Benghazi Gate that has built up. Take the energy of the resistance to the illegal alien amnesty overthrow of the American Republic and channel everything we've got into the 2014 elections. The 2014 elections will be our last shot to take civilian control of the United States government back over. And we've got, look, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham is on the chopping block. If we get a good, well-financed, well-organized candidate to run against Lindsey Graham in South Carolina, and I go down there and stir things up enough, you know, hey, we might be able to take him out. The people of office, the people in Arizona, please, people, you did so great with the immigration legislation, and now you sent us back John McCain and Jeff Flake. And I know that John McCain and Jeff Flake not only lied to you guys in Arizona, but they lied to you with over $30 million spent on their campaigns. And Rubio lied to you. We got to go after the liars. And let me tell you, the main ones we need to go after are the Republican liars, Alex. Now, granted, most Democrats are against this thing, too. But the poll numbers show us that 80% of Republicans are against, in truth, if truth be known, what Lindsey Graham is doing, what Marco Rubio is doing. And since we're so disadvantaged with opposition having all these billionaires and millionaires like George Soros on their side, I am targeting the Republicans. And I'll tell you something else. I got a little bit more respect for a Democrat that I disagree with. It has some lame globalist Star Trek New Generation idea about, oh, we just need to merge everything. At least they're being more open about it. I have more contempt for the Marco Rubios of the world and the John McCains and the Jeff Flakes that go around lying to everybody. Their entire job is to sit there and lie to people and deceive people on the biggest scale of them all. And so I have more contempt for them, including in my home state of North Carolina.
Well, I mean, I want to say this. Listen, they are going to take the guns. They've set up Homeland Security, teamed up with all these foreigners who think they're part of the government to come after everybody. And it is going to be a civil war because, look, they plan to have a war with us. Even if we lay down, they're coming to get us. Well, so I hope people realize...
ammo supply drain and the fact that they've got us cornered and things like that. But my thing is, it's politics, okay? There still is a peaceful political hope here. If enough Americans...
No, I know. I'm just saying we're not here trying to scare people. I don't have words to describe how dire our straits are.
Well, you remember the part of the movie when John Connor's in Crystal Peak and he figures out that it's going to happen and things are going to get terrible and he's just going to do the best he can with a little ham radio to keep people organized and do what he can? You know, that's what this feels like. But we've got to do what we can because even, you know, politics failing to the degree they have, that's unacceptable.
Well, by the way, the good news is hundreds of millions of guns are getting bought, 70 million plus just on record in the last few years. We're buying billions of rounds. People are awake, and I mean across the board. The liberty message to white, black, Hispanic, Asian, people that we can at least talk to. Who don't?
That can all be avoidable. That can all be
No, I know, but that shows that I understand we need to beat the bill. But what I'm saying is, it shows that people fundamentally know we've got a crook government. But I mean, the government is crazy.
And people fear this government, and it goes back to Thomas Jefferson. You know, when people fear the government, there is tyranny. There is tyranny. That's why Obama's talking about it to little student groups and saying, beware the voices that preach about government tyranny. What an anathema. What an anathema to the intrinsic American experience his comments are. And when he talks, it's clear to those of us that can see the matrix here that he doesn't talk like he's even one of us or a United States citizen at all. He talks about us and our Second Amendment rights as if it's something alien that he is just forced into paying homage to because he swore an oath and he's going to pretend like he...
Well, no. That's the tactic. Bloomberg says, I'm the biggest supporter of the Second Amendment. That's why it means you turn them in. They do that to neutralize opposition. It's like NDAA. I'm not going to sign it. So there's no opposition. Then it turns out the White House wrote it and he did sign it. I mean, it's all deception. And I believe and I know they're moving at Mach speed now because they're behind about a decade. Even their own tacticians like Brzezinski say that. And they can see that liberty is growing in the minds of Americans across the board.
Well, you ask why now? Why now is this. But since the last election, And this 1 year before the next election cycle really takes grip, which is usually about January, will be about January 2004. If we can stop this bill from passing prior to January 1st of 2004, I predict it will not pass. And that is giving us a hint.
You mean 2014?
Excuse me, yeah, right, 2014. And that gives us the hint of what we've got to do to turn it off. What we've got to do right now is locate all the traitors, all of the people pushing this invasion, pushing this nation-destroying amnesty invasion, including Republicans like Congressman Ted Poe from Texas, who we thought was on our side, who now suddenly pops up and says he supports path citizenship for illegal aliens. Wow. You know, we've actually had three. It's been embarrassing and shocking, but after 8 years of operations, we've had to rescind 3 endorsements in the last
No,
months.
you know why? Because look, you're finding out who's real now. The system is uncloaking. They are going for it all now. And 2014 is everything, ladies and gentlemen. And we have, I mean, listen, I've had these rallies, you know, against the illegal alien rallies where they're saying America's bad, you know, Mexico. And I've gone to those rallies, and a lot of Hispanic Americans have shown up with me saying, you know, I get it. I'm a truck driver, and since the Mexican trucks have been let in, my money's been cut in half. No, I get it. And it doesn't even help Mexico. I mean, why are the mega rich for this, like Warren Buffett? Because he wants to bankrupt America. The guy gets banker bailout money. The guy is a crook. I mean, this guy shut down the Keystone Pipeline to Texas from Canada. These people have invested in China. They've invested in Mexico in the slave factories. They're done. They hate American freedom. I mean, it's so simple. Closing comments. What do we do? Who do we call? How do we stop this?
We get on board at alleypack.us. We call and bombard the Senate and Congress with calls against the bill. But at the same time, we need enough people, volunteers and supporters, to fully launch our Canada operations of 2014 now. Let these lawmakers like Lindsey Graham and Ted Poe and other people all of a sudden hear from people in their district, hey, Congressman Poe, did you hear some guy named Danny Smith is going to run against you because you now support amnesty for illegal immigrants? What? Yeah, he's already
this is North American Union. And should they also call the committee? Should they call the
Judiciary Committee, every member of Congress, every member of Senate, and keep those calls rolling and intensify them. Spread the word on social media, internet, and talk radio, and help us start finding candidates.
Yeah, and I want to explain something to the gun lobby. The NRA should be against amnesty because Mexico, which is the main group of immigrants, has no Second Amendment. 90% in the polls I've seen end up voting illegally, or when they become citizens, to take the guns.
Well, they will have trouble with some of their supporters if they try to dilute or change their issue. AlleyPAC, Americans for Legal Immigration PAC, while we don't have the budget that the NRA does or the numbers just yet, we are the NRA of illegal immigration.
No, I know you are. That's why you're on this. But what I'm saying is that we need NRA members to get it through their head. Folks, this is it. This is North American Union. They've done this in Europe. They've done this in other areas. They flood the country with people, put them on welfare, and then convert the country to socialism. And the ultra-rich are then exempt from the taxes, as is coming out in France. And they want authoritarianism. This is
They do, and they're bringing in people that hate the predominant indigenous people of the United States, of European and Christian descendancy types, that are the type that have stopped the billionaires before, stopped the banks before, stopped the type of tyrannies before. You're talking about the #1 group of people that have enjoyed freedom and prosperity in world history here in the United States that are being targeted within our
Well,
own
I'll say
country.
this. I want to export liberty to all these countries, and I found that we're able to wake people up, but not if there's the language barrier, and that's why the melting pot has been overloaded to do this. The head of AlleyPAC, we appreciate William Gheen joining us. The fight is now. Thank you, sir.
HempUSA.org has a...
Alex Jones here, back live. What William Gheen was just talking about is true. The real Renaissance, or Western liberty, coming out of Greece and then Rome, and then, of course, Rome became corrupt, no longer a republic, and then in the Dark Ages and then Europe, has been the main driving force of liberty worldwide in the last 500 years. But the ideas are what can be transferred. But it's true, these third world populations have been taught their own nationalism and by the media to racially identify, while the United States is taught to be inclusive and not to identify. But that was done not to create unity. That was done to create balkanization and compartmentalization. You turn on MSNBC, it is the total Democratic Party Ku Klux Klan hour. But, you know, all whites are bad unless they submit to everything the New World Order says. That way you make political issues of open borders, taking your guns, socialist health care racial, when it shouldn't be racial. We're all human beings. Do you see that? So they don't want to export freedom to other countries. America now exports torture and corruption and government drug dealing to other countries. And then they blame what's good about America for all of those problems when America has been captured. Quite frankly, the nanotech, the genetic engineering, all the craziness that's going on is going to far outstrip this immigration issue in the future. I mean, they're going to release bioweapons, you name it. They're going to change things very, very quickly. I want freedom all over the world, from Africa to Latin America to Europe to Asia to Australia to every Pacific island. I want humanity to, you know, have better goals and ideas of building a future. But the globalists have an ugly view of humanity, and they want to collectivize things, not to even make you better, but to dominate humanity and then reduce humanity's numbers, sterilize the planet, most of the people, bring in GMO. I mean, when I look at this plan, it makes you believe in the devil because it's so wicked, it's so destructive, it's so bad even for the elite's own kids. And I don't see them getting away with it. We're going to start the next hour, and I've got to get into the Benghazi situation. And then I want to get into the latest on Syria. West provided chemical weapons to Syrian rebels. That's in the RA Novostat. That's the official Russian news. And I don't just believe what they say. I knew that months ago. That is an accurate report. Eyewitness says the younger brother, you know, the bomber, he's convicted, you know, no trial needed, did not shoot Boston cop. That's what witnesses are saying, that it's friendly fire. And you saw all sorts of friendly fire with the Dorner thing, and in New York shooting 9 people. We're going to get into all that. That is all coming up, and we're also going to get into an NRA video dealing with what's happening in Mexico, where the guns are really coming from. So all that and more coming up, and basically forced inoculation of your school children in Texas. This is happening all over the country. They go, well, your child agreed to have an abortion. They made the decision. Your child, you know, your 11-year-old in California decided to get all the vaccines, but they're not of the age of consent. I'm their parent. You're not anymore, Jack. By the way, in Mexico, they don't ask. They forcibly inoculate, and they forcibly abort, and they forcibly sterilize. Oh, and you notice me, the white, you know, devil, you know, because the media said so, because I'm white, being white's bad. You notice I'm saying don't abort Mexican babies here or in Mexico. I want to fill their head full of liberty. I want them to own guns. I don't want them to become rich. I want them to open companies and be doctors. And I want your kids, no matter what color they are, to go to the stars. But that's not going to happen if we keep this New World Order, you know, going forward. We've got to bring it down. Be sure and support us if you believe in this info. Spread the word about Infowars.com. And visit InfoWarsStore.com for water filters, the best quality seeds, books, videos, T-shirts, magazines, everything. You didn't build that. Somebody else built that. Barack H. Obama. You didn't build any of it. It's not the individual, it's the collective. Well, what is the collective? It's a bunch of slaves run by the technocrats. It's like the New York Times promoted, UN promoted zeitgeist movement. People go, Alex, you're just not intellectual enough to get it. A big central computer will direct where we work, what food we get, and what we do. Boy, that sounds like total slavery to me. By the way, who programs that computer? You just don't get it. You just don't get that. It's so intellectual. Look, this old man made models of science fiction cities, Alex. I'm like, wow, all the communists and fascists always promised all the space age stuff, but all they delivered was hell on earth. I've actually seen the stuff 100 years ago. You're just recycling that? You don't get what intellectuals we are, Alex. And then I said to the zeitgeist guy, I said, look, you know, let's come back on. I didn't like we had a big fight 5-6 years ago. Come back on. Explain to me how I'm wrong. You have to correct. I never said that you should go to, you know, a re-education camp, that I would be re-educated. And I went back and watched the interview, and he says, you'll be sent to a re-education center. You'll be re-educated if you don't accept. And I called him back and I said, but I can play it. He goes, I'm not looking. You apologize for that and these other 5 things, and I will come on. Can you imagine walking around? It's just like the NPR people and Obama and all of them. They just walk around going, we're master planners. Man, I mean, look, I'm a smart guy, and I have trouble running my own life and keeping myself in shape, somewhat of shape. I sat on my ass for years, excuse the French, and running things here. And, I mean, I got a lot of energy, and, man, let me tell you, I work 18 hours a day a lot of days. Okay, and I'm sick of people, government, bureaucrats, all of you. Arrogant cops walking up going, who do you think you are? Like I'm supposed to be scared you got a gun and a suit. Freaks me out. Freaks me out. I mean, I know history, man. I know Danger Will Robinson. And it's because good people have become so compliant. Good people, good cops have gone along with letting bad cops, run things. We have just decided everything's corrupt, and that's just the way it is. I'm just going to have a good time. But you know what? We need to pull back from this and just think we're alive one time. Are we really going to let the worst elements of every form of society run things? And I want to ask the establishment something. I know you're all competing with each other, and you're all scared too, so you're just trying to jockey the operation so that you come out on top. Look, none of you are coming out on top. And when something else I told a reporter about a week ago, when everybody sells out, there's not even any power in it. Even if you're a cynical bad person. What did the devil say? It's better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. It's better to burn out than fade away. But what if you're in hell? What if you're in a system run by the devil? It's better to reign in heaven than serve in hell. That's another lie of the devil. You don't serve in heaven. The saints reign in heaven and cast their crowns at the feet of God and don't want it. Because when you really rule, you know it's a responsibility, and you then have discernment and wisdom. I will tell the New World Order this, and I know it in my heart and soul, from the foundations of eternity. You will never taste your world government. You will not extend your lives, and you will die trying. You have already failed. Judy Powell, co-founder and communications director of parentsguidancecenter.org, is going to be joining us. She's actually a friend of the family. She's down at the Capitol right now. At the bottom of the hour, she's going to pop in. They're trying to pass in Texas and other states. They've passed it in California to forcibly inoculate your children. What it is basically the state says, well, your 11-year-old said they want an abortion, or your 11-year-old says that they want to take these vaccines. Of course, your 11-year-old can't decide to go get drunk with somebody. Your 11-year-old can't decide to get in a van with a man that drives by the front yard. Hey, little girl. Hey, little boy, come get in the car with me. But when you've got a bunch of serial killer, child molester scum running the government, that's what they do. And they are scum. They're getting rid of parents. They're saying the state runs your children. Should I play clips of them saying that on MSNBC? They had the courts 3 years ago in California say the state is the guardian, not the parents. It got overthrown in federal court. But they are pushing this. This is who these flaming freaks are. And anything they support, you got to be against it. They want open borders, you got to be against it. I can intellectually tell you why that's a bad idea, to have open borders. They want our guns turned in, I don't want to turn them in. I can intellectually show you why it's good to keep your guns. They want you to take vaccines. They're bad people with a bad history, caught carrying out eugenics, giving people syphilis, you name it, radiating foster kids. Boy, a known group of killers, you don't put something in your body they're telling you put in your body. They're a known group of scum. Our government's been hijacked, so I'm against vaccines. And I'm against Agenda 21. What do you think? It's a foreign banking scam to shut down everybody but them so only they can operate. We're fighting a global mafia, and they can think up anything. They create the issuance of money and credit. So they want to shut down production because that's what gives them real control. It's not about money. It's about power. It's about domination. It's about keeping us, the little ants, in line. Remember in the Bug's Life? Or was it Ants? What movie is that? Bug's Life or Ants? Yeah, Bug's Life. You're like, hey, boss, why are we going to stand up to the ants? We got plenty of food. We got plenty of food here. We don't need to make those ants collect food for us. And he goes, those ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, it's over for us. It's not about food. It's about power. Let's ride. They turn their wings on and fly back to dominate him. He goes, quite the motivational speaker, don't you think? I'm watching every form of classical stinking evil run rampant. They're building FEMA camps. They admit 1 year they spent $5 billion. When was that, like 2006 when they declassified it? $5 billion in a geoengineering program. And last year they announced, guys, type in $10 billion for geoengineering. But then I go, okay, so you're adding it to the jet fuel. Here's the patent. Even the pilots don't know. And then aerosolizes it. And why are you doing that? Well, we don't want to tell you, but maybe we blew holes in the atmosphere when we detonated all those hydrogen bombs in the 60s in the upper atmosphere. And then they had a plan to try to blow up the moon. And then I have writers call me and go, do you really believe they tried to blow up the moon? Do you really believe that they detonated the U.S. alone over 100 hydrogen bombs in the upper atmosphere trying to blow up the Van Allen radiation belt to get spacecraft through it? And I just go, I just look at the reporters now and go, no, you're right. I made that up. They're like, really, you did? And I said, yeah, man, whatever you want. Whatever you want. Because I can't deal with it anymore. We have let every crazy person, every nutcase, every globalist get control, and no one will say no to them. Mark Dice, I want to get to this. If I don't get to it now, I'll play it on the Nightly News tonight because I got a guest coming up. Like, we'll cue that up. I'll play it up after the guest comes on. Mark Dice went out, and he went out to the campus, and he said, hi, I'm with Obama's domestic security force, volunteer security force. I want to search your bag to make sure you're not a terrorist. And every person let him search their bags. He was wearing a shirt that said troll on it, had a troll on it. He said, I am a troll. Hi, I'm a troll with Obama. I'd like to search your bag to make sure you're not a terrorist. I'm with Obama. You say Obama, folks, these people, if you said Obama says slit your throat, I'm telling you, some of them would do it. Because their whole identity is, I watch TV, I do whatever. Obama. Obama says turn my guns in. Obama says eat GMO. Obama says have open borders. Obama's a teleprompter. I mean, it is. You're saying you have the clip ready now? All right, let's just go ahead and play some of that now. I mean, it's up on Infowars.com. Paul Watson wrote a story about it. You got to see the video if you're a radio listener. And you know, you can go out to them and say, we want Nazi Germany to take over America, to take the guns for Obama. They go, oh, Nazis for Obama. Yeah, I'll sign that. Because, and then he talks to the guy and he goes, now you're sure about that? You want to ban the guns and put them, arrest the gun owners and Nazi takeover? He goes, man, you don't have to convince me. I understand. And he's like, he just looks at Mark like, because to that guy who has no power in his life, it sounds pretty powerful to lock people up in a camp. I mean, that's sexy, man. I mean, these people are just pathetic, begging to be overrun, begging. Here's the problem, though. There are a large portion of us that are awake and know what's going on, and you can call us crazy all day. Yeah, we're crazy like a fox. We're crazy awake. Let's go to Mark Dice's video. He's got one where they say, all of them say, ban the First Amendment. He goes, we're going to arrest the Tea Partiers and ban their First Amendment because they don't like Obama, and he needs to be the boss. And they go, yes, I want to sign that. This is everyone in Southern California that he talks to. All of them. We go out in Austin. Let's ban water. Yes, ban water. Let's take everybody's guns. Yes, let's take everybody's guns. Because it's real simple. I'm trendy. We got to go out and say, hi. Well, I think we already did it. We got to edit it. I haven't seen the video yet. I think they went out last week, did they? And shot a piece saying, post-birth abortion for the earth. For the earth, Obama wants to abort babies up to age 3. And I guarantee you they're going to sign it. Oh, really? Abort babies for the earth? Oh. Here, let's go ahead now. You can't ever blame the Germans anymore, folks. Okay? I mean, people follow orders. You get a tyranny in, it's over. And they're trying to get it all in place right now. Let's go ahead and go to this clip.
Take a quick look in your backpack, just checking for explosive materials in the wake of the Boston bombings. We're just making sure that nobody's carrying any harmful or potentially hazardous materials on campus. Okay, you're clear to go. Thank you so much for that. Take a quick look in your bag, make sure that you're not carrying any explosive materials in the wake of the Boston bombing.
What is this for?
Thank you for not being a sucker. Hey, sir, excuse me, sir, 1 second, stop. Just need to take a quick look in your backpack, make sure we're not having any potentially hazardous or explosive materials in here.
Are you serious? You're stopping?
We're just part of the Obama Citizen Security Volunteer Force. Just in the wake of the Boston bombings, we can't be too sure this is a black backpack. Okay, you're clear to go, sir. Thank you.
Wait, are you serious?
No, we're just showing how suckers people are, and they'll just sit and obey and willingly let their Fourth Amendment be violated.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe that guy just stopped.
Excuse me, sir. Just need to take a quick look in your bag make sure there's no explosive material. Stop 1 second. Just need to make sure that there's no explosive materials in this bag or anything.
All right, that's enough. Hazardous. Full video up on Infowars.com and Paul Watson's article. Californians let Obama domestic security force, in quotes, search their bags. And then he goes out and does it on the boardwalk. And the police come over and go, well, I guess you're saying it's voluntary, so okay. But people don't like it when we do this. And again, they're in uniforms with a gun. And now in Austin, they go, oh, we're searching everybody's bags randomly on Lamar. TSA, feds out of their jurisdiction, aren't even sworn police, out there with Austin police searching. And then you say no to them. They're like, how dare you say no to me? It's exactly the same deal. It's asinine. And we have another video I'll play some of coming up after the break where they sign petitions, every one of them, to ban free speech. And they speak English. These are white guys, black guys, Hispanic, you name it. I mean, they're like, yeah, we're going to ban the Tea Party from their speech. Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to, because you're not allowed to talk bad about Obama. I mean, he needs to totally run things now. We're going to have authoritarianism now. And they're like, oh, absolutely. They're like, yeah, people are causing a problem talking bad about Obama. Yeah, let's ban the First Amendment. Let's arrest them. And these are people having conversations, making eye contact, clearly audibly saying that they're going to do all of this. And California, they've won there. We're on the radio there. There's some good people up there. And look, California's going bankrupt. They love it. They're going to take the entire middle class's money, and the ultra-rich that are exempt are going to, of course, move out of California. And this is what they do everywhere. They're now got taxes above 75% in France, and the government, on record, is exempt. You heard me. They're exempt.
Hey there.
Folks, I got a correction to make. I said Wells Fargo and Wachovia laundered $376 million in drug money over 2 years, according to federal documents that Bloomberg covered. It's $378 billion. I always say $2 billion less for some reason. $378 billion. We're going to show you that news article again in a moment. We showed it last hour. They were supplying the aircraft, the weapons, everything. And we pulled up some of the news articles, and I got an NRA piece that also gives it sources, where the Mexican drug cartels get at least 3/4 of their weapons they buy from the Mexican military, or they buy that come in on international flights. Fully auto, grenade launchers, you name it. There it is, banks financing Mexico gangs admitted in Wells Fargo deal. Who's Wells Fargo? It's Warren Buffett. Yeah, Warren Buffett's the real gangster, folks. He makes Capone look like a schoolboy. Warren Buffett has gotten hundreds of billions of dollars, look it up, of bailout money. Just type Warren Buffett, biggest beneficiary of bailout. And now you've got to buy insurance from him. That's why he's got record profits this year. He runs things. He's El Jefe. El Gordo. Warren Buffett, champion of bailout, also leading beneficiary. McClatchy News. So now you know. But document can please. Obama blames in Mexico days ago. We've been covering this. Obama blames U.S. gun owners. And I'll be honest with you. There are a lot of guns from the U.S. going into Mexico that weren't shipped there by Obama to blame the Second Amendment. And I say, great. Criminals are going to have guns. Government's going to have guns anyways. I've seen the numbers. The semi-autos, the shotguns, the handguns. Mexicans are getting them and taking them home to protect their families. And by the way, you can pull up the articles. Mexican vigilantes are restoring order in city after city. Vice News has covered it. You name it. So they hate it. Criminal Obama and the criminal drug cartels run by the CIA in many cases, that's come out in court, they hate it. So they hate the fact that the Mexicans are getting guns. I mean, what are they going to do if the Mexicans get guns to protect themselves? Then the cartels, see, the cartels will only attack you most of the time if they think you're not armed. And they demand money off people to let their kids go to school safe. Even poor people, they're shaken down now. Mexico has totally imploded into a hell. And I say more power to the Mexican people to get guns and protect themselves. You know the answer to free Mexico? Give guns and firearms training to every family in Mexico, and the problems would be over very, very quickly. You look at China and places that are under hellish control, it's because they've taken the guns from the people. And only government has the guns. North Korea, you name it. Tyrants hate guns. Let's go ahead. They hate guns in your hands. Let's go to this NRA piece breaking it down. Here it is.
We don't care about your laws here. We can get weapons anywhere. We get weapons from Honduras and El Salvador.
Majority of the weapons are not coming from the U.S. 3/4 of the weapons that the cartel gets is supplied by the military.
Corruption in Mexico is not a problem. It's an institution.
It's a business for the government, for the military, and for the cartels. Why would you stop the business when it's working so well?
The worst of their society coming here to America to prey upon our innocent citizens. And this isn't a problem?
The federal government has abandoned us.
Do I think the border is secure? Hell no.
We've been driving down this border road here for, 10 miles. Have you seen a Border Patrol agent yet? The Border Patrol is not on the border.
I know that border, I think, as well as anyone.
We turn on the TV and Janet Napolitano says...
It is as secure now as it has ever been.
My question.
Senator, please.
In my opinion, it's borderline treason.
There's traffic through here, unstoppable. The agents, we don't have enough.
Oh, absolutely. I carry a gun everywhere I go.
We're looking at human smuggling, drugs, terrorists coming across our property.
From Syria, from Iran, from Turkey, from China.
My wife comes home from the grocery store and a woman's head is in the front yard. Is this America or is this Iraq?
National security should not be a political game, and these jokers make it just that.
For us and my family, our safe haven has been destroyed, and that is unforgivable, and I don't know how this government is ever going to give that back to me.
To slap in the face the citizens of this great country of ours, to slap in the face the people that have fought for this flag that we represent.
I fear for my grandchildren what they are going to be left with. It's our rights are being stripped on a day-to-day basis.
Angry, you betcha. Surprised? No. No president who has the best interest of this nation as a nation, as it was created, would ever do something like this.
These guys ought to be criminally tried for what they're doing in this nation.
Everything we love about America, all the freedoms our forefathers fought for.
We'll be right back.
All of it is under attack by Barack Obama.
No kidding.
So pass this story along, then join the NRA.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Ministry bringing us in. Oh, yeah. Man, I tell you, anybody who says they're bored because they watch TV all day in the false culture, if you're awake, folks, you're not bored. The world, the technological developments, the good, the bad, the incredible things unfolding, the unspeakable things going on. I haven't even gotten into Benghazi, and I really should. The hearings are tomorrow. The indication we're getting from the Republicans is they're going to try to score some political points, but actually not do anything because they're the ones, with Obama saying attack Syria, use al-Qaeda against them. They're all up to it in their eyeballs. So they'll criticize Obama for not giving support to the ambassador and letting al-Qaeda kill him when the State Department hired the al-Qaeda group, brought them in to overthrow Libya, and that was the group they hired for security at the safe house and the weapons cache. Down the street, they had a big military torture center. Again, Obama's continuing the torture. And it's just an example of there is no Democratic Party. There is no Republican Party at the top. They're a bunch of crooks. But the mainline Republicans and the Democrats are all attacking the proto-Tea Party that came out of Ron Paul, myself, and others. That's the group they're going after. Constitutionalist, because the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, common sense, and not laying down to tyranny, being uppity, sits incontrovertibly against them. There aren't many populations that won't put up with being slaves. The Afghans won't do it. There are areas of Africa where people have never really been totally taken over. There are a few areas of Mexico where nobody's been able to take over. Areas of Chiapas and things, because it's really just natives down there. It's like Native Americans who are still down there. Pretty much, same thing as the Comanches or something. Everybody else is being assimilated and taken over by the globalist corporate board. And bottom line here, ladies and gentlemen, is the New World Order is not taking us over to make us civilized and bring us into the future. They're doing exactly what was done to natives in this country. Put you on a reservation, use bioweapons against you. Use cultural death against you. Overwrite and destroy your culture. This is what the globalists are doing. The globalists have their culture. It's psychopathic control of society, the destruction of the family, medical tyranny. So we're going to get into Eyewitness, the Zarneb brother, the one still alive, did not shoot Boston cop. It was friendly fire. And Watson goes into all the other examples of where they've done friendly fire and tried to frame people for it. Very powerful. And that's in mainstream news. Cop must have known a little too much. Or cops knew too much. And then the whole thing's a cover-up. It's not just that. You add it all together. Also, West providing chemical weapons to Syria. That's coming out in mainstream news. We're getting into that. We've got a little bit on the Benghazi, but Lindsey Graham and others are like, this is really the dam breaking. That's how you lie to somebody. It's like you bust in with some guy in bed with your wife, and he says, this is the dam breaking. I'm gonna come clean for you right now. I'm gonna admit everything. You're like, oh, really? You are? Yes, I was. I'm a gynecologist, and I dropped by here tonight to do a medical checkup on it for free because I just want to be a friend. I mean, that's what Lindsey Graham's doing. He's like, now I got the dams breaking here. There was total systematic failure and stand down for 8 hours on accident. Obama, you did a terrible job. We're going to give the State Department more diplomatic funding and more security funding. How dare you? And Obama will say, I could have done a better job. You're right. Not, well, we hired al-Qaeda to run security, and we ordered a stand down for 8 hours while they killed everybody inside, so there wouldn't be any witnesses that we gave them 10,000 heat-seeking missiles because we're planning to use those on the West to bring in martial law. And so, yeah, we killed the ambassador. You bet we did. And we'll do it again if we need to. No, you don't want the public to know that. And it may have been a neocon double cross. Some of my experts think that might have even happened. And there was a group within there that told Obama, just keep sleeping, and they did it. I don't know, because all these Democrats make it about Obama. There's no way he'd do that. There's no way he'd... Oh, really? When they bomb a couple hundred people and kill them to kill one bad guy, they call it collateral damage. They will kill people all day, including each other. Don't you people get it? Tyranny isn't sexy. It's not cool. It's not fun. I want to go to our guest, Judy Powell. And they're voting on this today in the committee. And this is being passed all over the country, ladies and gentlemen. She's the co-founder, communications director. We should get her on sometime in studio on CPS. The battles she's been through with parents, because it's mainly middle-class people. They hunt your kids because they get top dollar from them from the adoption houses. Just like in China, the Falun Gong that only eat organic and exercise have the best organs. And so they type they blood type them, genetic type them, and keep them there in their prison cell, exercise them, feed them well, until an American wants an organ. Of course, you don't ask where it's coming from. So they're warehousing our kids. That's a separate issue. But here is the bill. Document cam, please. The bill is HB 1340. The bill is HB 1340, and Judy Powell joins us. She heads up parentguidancecenter.org, and they're trying to pass it in the Texas House. Here is the bill right here. The bill would allow minors 14 age or older to consent to their own immunization unless the medical provider has knowledge the child's parent or guardian has expressly refused to give consent. You see, all over the country, they're giving kids shots as young as 5 without parental consent and saying it's an accident. They didn't know. California made it down to age 11. Now, can your 14-year-old give consent to have sex with maybe the principal? The principal's like, hey, your 14-year-old wanted it, wanted the drugs, that's why they sell drugs to kids or give it to them free to get them addicted and then say, now go take money out of your mom's purse and bring it to me. And then nobody busts him because he's paying the cops off. And so there you go, and the bill gets even worse in its language. And then next, they're also trying to get abortion without parental consent. Hey, you're in California, your 11-year-old needs a letter to go to the planetarium or the zoo, but not to get an abortion or get shot up with deadly vaccines that the insert says can kill them. So Judy Powell, fighting this valiantly, is a citizen activist right down there at the Capitol right now. She joins us from the Capitol. Judy, thank you for joining us. Tell us the latest on this bill and the phone numbers and who we need to call and what we need to do right now.
Well, the latest is it's going to the House floor today. We're thinking maybe in a couple hours.
Oh, it's already out of committee. Oh, my God.
It's out of committee, yeah. It's going to a floor vote right now, today. It's on the calendar for today. So we need people to call their local representative and in the House side and tell them vote against HB 1340. That would be the best thing for everyone to do.
Doesn't it show how criminal the government is? They're shooting kids up everywhere and telling them it's the law, and then don't tell your parents. And then they're being caught doing this all over the place. And so now their answer is just say no more parental consent. I mean, this is unprecedented.
Right, exactly. And we feel like this bill is usurping parental authority and kind of going around the normal medical process. And it's really about probably the HPV vaccine, because a lot of these vaccines are required to get into schools, and children know that. So say they're sitting at the doctor's office on a sick visit, and the doctor introduces some vaccine that's not required to get into school. They're not going to know the difference. And so they're going to say, sure, yeah, I want to be safe from cancer or whatever, the doctor's hawking at the time.
Oh, yeah, it's like, hey, we don't have to even go grab kids from CPS now and test stuff on them. We can just do it with your kids.
Exactly. And like you said earlier, they're not capable of consenting to sex. They're not capable. We don't let a 14-year-old, drink alcohol. They can't even go to the school nurse without oversight. They have a headache. They can't even take an aspirin without the nurse looking over their shoulders. Yet we're going to have them consent to these immunizations.
Well, see, that's the next phase of parents can't even give their kids a Tylenol. It's only the school. Only they can. Only they have the power. Sorry, go ahead.
And so, it's just expanding government authority over, of course, with the Federal Health Care Act going through, we think it has a lot to do with that. And so they're trying to get more and more kids into these hospital homes or the medical home, whatever they want to call it, and usurp the parental authority. And in this bill, it's specifically, the most disturbing part is if your child does consent, it has a clause that says the healthcare provider or facility is not liable for the immunization of a child under this section, except for the provider's or facility's own acts of negligence, which we already know in the vaccine industry that pharmaceutical companies are immune from prosecution. And so we have a bill here that says if we go ahead without your parental authority and vaccinate your kid and something happens, gee, I'm sorry Johnny died, we're not responsible. And so that's the most disturbing part of the bill, I think, besides, letting a 14-year-old consent. Now, they try to cover themselves in the bill by saying that they already have on file that a parent has consented to medical treatment. But medical treatment, in our opinion, is very different than an immunization. An immunization is a choice. Medical treatment is, sure, if your arm is broken, reset it. If you're in an emergency situation, resuscitate. I can't think of any instance that we have an immunization that's going to save a kid's life. So they say that if you've consented to this medical treatment, then you've already consented. But that's a very different thing in the immunization world, because so far, many states, we still have a choice for religious exemptions or philosophical exemptions.
Absolutely. Now, is there a general number? Because every time I try to find numbers, there's numbers for each person. We'll put them back on screen. Should we call the Speaker of the House or who was most? Because people will say, give us a number. If people are so lazy, they won't even find the number or type in Texas State House contacts, you can find how to email them. Because, again, I should have dug these numbers up before you got here. Do you have those numbers in front of you, or do you have a general switchboard number?
Unfortunately, I don't.
Yeah, I go through this every year or so when I end up going over the Texas State House. I'm going to hang it on the wall next time. Of course, they change numbers sometimes, too, so that we can do that. But, of course, they try to hide the numbers as well. Will you put it back on screen? I'll just hand give these out individually to everybody out there on the radio. We'll punch that back up. And you can go to...
The best thing to do is find your address. Like, if you go to the regular site and you type in your address and you find your representative, because representatives listen to their constituents specifically. So if you go to the main site, it has an area that says, who is my representative? And you can click on that and you put in your home address, and that they don't keep track of that, I mean, as far as we know, right?
Sure, you can go to texasdirectory.com, and they've got all the up-to-date numbers for each member. But again, and if you're listening in New Mexico or you're listening in Maine, they are trying to pass this and are passing this everywhere. In some cases, children as young as 11. And it overthrows common law, common sense. Did you see MSNBC officially in ads now say that the state basically owns your children?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
I'm sorry, your phone's breaking up.
I've been up at the Capitol 24/7, so I have not seen NBC.
Well, no. I mean, this happened a while back. It's just that they're getting more bold.
Oh, absolutely.
So do you know how many votes they have? I mean, is it a close vote or what's going on?
We don't know yet. I mean, it's just going to be a general vote. We are working with some other groups that have blanketed the Capitol with some flyers, with some talking points, like the Homeschool Coalition, the Texas Homeschool Coalition, also the National Vaccine Information Center. The local Texas vaccine group is Parents Requesting Open Vaccine Education, PROVE, Prove. They've been working hard on it. But the other side is very strong. They've got more money. All of us are working, we're volunteers. And so the other side is coming from, the doctors and the hospitals and the pharmaceutical companies. They have a lot of money that they put into these vaccination campaigns. So, and they spew out a lot of, dangerous, scary statistics to these representatives. And I think that the representatives, they have a good heart a lot of times. They want to do the right thing. But I think that they're kind of wowed and wooed, bamboozled by the statistics. We don't have an HPV epidemic going on in our state where, girls are just dropping dead from cancer because they didn't get their HPV vaccine. We have no numbers like that proving that we have people dying, by the millions from the flu or any of these other vaccines.
They give people 20 times the vaccines they did in the 50s. They're filled with every horrible thing. The UN's been caught adding sterilants to it on record. Anybody can look it up. This government, with its history of secret experimentation, cannot be trusted to do anything. So everybody in Texas who doesn't want to have their kids forcibly inoculated, because that's what they do. They convince them, oh, you want the shot? You want the lollipop? I mean, this is just amazing.
And I was afraid of my doctor. Kids, I'm like, okay, this is the doctor. He must know best. And so you're going to do whatever the doctor... I mean, it's an authority problem here. You're going to put this kid under authority that they don't understand that they have a choice.
No, exactly. It lets the government bully your child into doing whatever they want. I mean, government sets up checkpoints now and searches everyone's bags illegally with guys in uniforms and guns. Now, have you seen the forced inoculations they've done in, like, Maryland, where they have the police in riot gear and barking dogs and say it's the law when it's not? And in a giant exercise of brute fraud, they give them the injections?
And this is the level that they start at. They start with kind of a low-level coercion, kind of under people's noses. It's for your own good. And then they're just going to work up from there. The next step would be requiring these vaccines and then taking away our choice.
A bunch of states are doing that now, yes.
Exactly, right. We don't want Texas to be one of them. And so if we fight back now, see, the law that passed in California that let children consent to immunizations was specifically for STDs. Now, of course, we're opposed to that as well. But this law in Texas, 1340, is more expansive. It does not say just for STDs. It just says for immunizations, period. So that's going to be any immunization they want to give our kids. We need to stop it. And I think people have the power to stop it. They don't know that they have the power. The representatives, listen, when you start bombarding their offices with phone calls, they listen and they get afraid to vote for something that's bad. And they pull back on it. And that's what we need today.
But the American people are so passive now. That's why we become so enslaved. Texas is still free to a great extent because people are instinctively wary of government. But Austin has been colonized by Californians. A lot of them are my friends, but people fleeing California. But now the second wave are here saying this is California. I've actually had Californians tell me that, oh, you're one of those Texans. We're going to show you. And it's like, oh, my God, you're going to show me? I mean, it's just bizarre.
Yes, please don't bring your California laws to Texas. We're all in trouble.
It's like a cult, man. It's a cult. All right, well, you're doing great work over there at parentguidancecenter.org. Everybody should check it out. Judy Powell, we'll get you in studio sometime with good audio. Great job down there at the Capitol. We'll see what happens with this fight. Anything else?
Thanks a lot for doing what you do, Alex.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
All right, it's one of my wife's friends. Great lady. All right, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, on the other side of this break with more on Benghazi, the armed march on D.C.
You prepare by...
You know what I'm doing? I'm just desperately trying to get you to think, get you to take action, get you to stand up and say no to the New World Order. And I'm asking our listeners, who are great, active people that love liberty, to reach out to their friends and family and really alert people. And I am seeing more and more signs that people are getting awake, are getting involved. But now is the time to be as aggressive as possible. I mean, if the government can publicly use al-Qaeda against Libya and Syria while taking our rights because of the al-Qaeda threat, you know you're in trouble. If Congress can be having hearings about, they've already begun to take federal pension funds, they've already spent them. You're still getting fiat checks, but the money's gone. That's been given to foreign banks. If they can take pension funds, I mean, my God, you're talking about the end of society as we know it, the end of confidence in the system. I have so many reporters say to me, Alex, you're going to destroy confidence in America. America is being destroyed by the globalists. They're destroying the confidence. My confidence, my reliance is on common sense because history has shown any government big enough to give you anything you want will take everything you've got. That's just the way the world works. Look how jealous and envious and non-sharing the average person is, even if they're not a bad person. People just cannot share. I have done probably 10 different media deals with people over the years, financing films, you name it. And in no case did they ever pay unless I controlled the money. Everyone that's done business with me has been paid exactly what they were owed or more. Every other person I've worked with would not pay me and would destroy a relationship because they couldn't give people the money. Hollywood, even big shows like Doomsday Preppers, they don't have paid crew now on them. They have all these Hollywood people and camera folks who will work for free. It's the same thing with a lot of the people that do roadie work and stuff. Used to get paid a lot, then it was paid a little, then it's, okay, well, work for free for a while to prove you'll do it. I'm not talking about some college, work for a T-shirt. I'm not talking about people that have never been a roadie, that don't know sound, that don't know light. I mean good people. That's a race to the bottom. That's not building a culture. That's not building a civilization. The globalists are totally cutthroat, folks. You can build a true free market of excellence where people demand better and better, and you build a civilization. We're going the opposite direction. And everyone knows this. And then I think about secret geoengineering programs, partially declassified, and just the sci-fi-ness of what we're in. And who knows what we don't know about. The average bureaucrat, the average even billionaire, the average senator doesn't even know what's going on. This, because it's so complex, even though it's all public, most of it, no one even in power will look at it because they're too busy doing their specialized job to go have sex with their mistress or go play golf. or go to a gala and be a narcissist and wave at people. I mean, that's what they're into. I am into how the world really works. I am immersed in what's going on. And I have the quasi-photographic memory over the years to be able to integrate it and the historical lens. And then and now I can report to you that it wasn't hard. This stuff is hiding in plain view at point-blank range. We'll cover the Benghazi hearings tomorrow. We'll get into everything. The police have confirmed in England that, yes, Bilderberg is there this year. I'm going. Everybody needs to be there. There's incredible news at Infowars.com and Prisonplanet.com. They're doing everything they can to censor us and block us and Google to delist us. Please support Infowars.com. Please support liberty. I mean, I'm not fighting these guys to lose. I know if we have a loser mentality, we're going to lose. I know if we engage them, we're going to win. Every time we do engage, we win. Justice has providence behind it. So spread the word about Infowars.com. Spread the word about the radio show. And shop with the good guys. Support us at InfowarsStore.com.